what are our favorite and least favorite aspects of Amazon ads.
How do you spend the 80-20 of your time? What is your big focus? Hey, this is David Gabriel Goldenberg from 011 Ads for Brands, and I'm joined by David Zimmerman of the Razor Group aggregator out of Berlin. And David works there running their ads. And David, welcome for joining us.
Thanks a lot, David. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to
join forces with another David. So
yes, yeah, exactly. Great to speak with another David. And this is the second time we're shooting this video. Actually, the first screencast, I think said I had 45 minutes of recording time, which turned out in practice to be 5 minutes. So this is our second go around, but the first one was, in any case, a very interesting discussion.
You were absolutely brilliant the first time.
Yeah, sorry you guys are going to all have to miss it. And David also runs his own YouTube channel. You guys can check it out, DDZim. And he's got some really, you get the point, really in-depth reviews on the Amazon advertising tools available out there, the different features, really huge comparison that he spent, I don't know how long on, but you can see from how much data there is in there, how valuable it is. So check it out, subscribe to his channel. And yeah, let's get into talking about Amazon ads and this whole industry. So how do you come to be working in this field, David?
Good question. Well, I actually studied sports management, so I don't know how I ended up here, to be honest. I somehow applied to Selix, one of those Amazon advertising softwares, one of the first ones. I just really liked it, liked how fast advertising is growing in the Amazon space. And yeah, just stuck with it. Afterwards did my freelancer thing, and then I ended up at Razor. So yeah, still liking it a lot.
Very cool. Very cool. We used to use Selix actually when I was working in-house at a brand, and it was really beneficial because the way the data was presented allowed me to get a good feel and understanding of what our most important keywords and products were. So that was, very helpful for learning. At the time, I think they fixed it later, but at the time, it for a large account, like this account spent, I don't know, about like 6 figures a month. So at the time, it was kind of slow loading, but I was told that they fixed that. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? Now, suddenly I realize where your name always seemed familiar to me. Maybe I was like dealing with you as a customer at some point.
Ah, okay. Yeah, very cool. I mean, when you say Selix, I'm like, yeah, I know Selix, and Franz Jordan does a lot of interviews all over, so he's very knowledgeable. So you started working for Selix, and then I think you told me last time a friend went and joined Razor, or started Razor, and he's like, hey, David, you got to come work for me. We need somebody who knows the advertising side.
Yeah, pretty much like that, Christian, and then we both started in February. So, yeah, it's been an exciting ride, at Selix, and we grew from more or less 10 to 100 in 3 years, and now it was like from, 10 to 300 in 1 year, so
wow.
The speed is a bit different.
For sure. How many people are on your team nowadays, approximately, a range?
Yeah, I guess you can see it on LinkedIn if you really want to know, but more or less 20.
Wow. Okay. That's a big responsibility. So, if you've got 20 people working with you on the ads, how do you spend the, 80-20 of your time? What is your big focus? Because I imagine that you yourself are not individually going in to write copy. Maybe you are, but, I would imagine that's probably not most of your day writing headlines or researching keywords for your ads. So how does the shift work when you've got a team like that? Where do you focus your energy?
Well, I mean, first of all, I do also do that stuff. So we just have too many brands to not have us also, take up some brands. But yes, prioritization is the big thing for us, especially when we take over the brand. and we kind of set this strategy. We prioritize the products especially. We really go into the reports and the numbers and, look at conversion rates of the products and look at revenue per session per product. We talked about it last time. That is, probably the main indicator of where we see the most potential for a product. So, if it's not like the best seller yet in the niche, and if it doesn't have too many sessions yet, and it has a good revenue per session, then that's where we see a lot of potential. So, yeah, that's one of the first things we do, prioritize, and then go after those. Yeah.
So you're doing the analysis to tell your guys, here are the big priorities for this account. These are the best products based on them earning the most revenue per session.
Yeah, I wouldn't say tell my team.
Well, guide them maybe.
That's the idea. We analyze it together.
That's humble. I like that approach. I think the nuances in language are important there, and it affects also how the relationships are, which obviously matters a lot. For those of you watching who aren't familiar with revenue per session or revenue per click, it's basically where you divide your sales by your clicks, or if you're looking at a business report, your sales over your sessions. And the importance of that is that it affects what your allowable cost per click is, right? So for instance, if you're selling, I don't know, bathtubs, right? And your revenue per click is, let's say, $20, right? And your affordable ACOS is, let's say, 10%, right? So that means that you can spend basically $2 per click to make the $20 per click on average, right? And therefore, working backwards based on that, if you can afford to spend $2 per click, right, there's a difference between what you bid and what you pay. So you probably bid somewhere in the range of, let's say, $2.50, $2.60, yeah, something like that, right? Whereas if you're making $2 per click, right, even if your target ACOS is 50%, right, you can't bid over, let's say, $1, $1.10, something like that, because your allowable cost per click will be 50% of your $2 revenue per click. So the higher that is, and David's talking about also it's not a bestseller, meaning there's still a lot of potential for growth for this product, right? They're looking at the BSRs, the bestseller ranks, and that says, hey, this product is a strong performer, yet it has potential for growth. Go for it.
It's good that you mentioned target ACOS, because that's, of course, another thing we need to know, the break-even ACOS. So you could have the greatest revenue per session, but if the break-even ACOS is, very, very low, then that's another kind of thing that we look at and not prioritize that product.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have the margins to play with so that you can bid on the ads, because, otherwise it's just too difficult. I was looking yesterday at some products that sell for like £1 or something. And I thought it was just interesting. I was thinking to myself, how would I advertise it? If I were advertising something that sells for £1, what would I do? And I was thinking, like, on the one hand, you can try to get like cheap clicks, but I don't know how much you can scale that. It's an interesting thing because I think there's this range where being at either extreme is a bit hard. So like if, I don't know, maybe bathtubs, let's suppose that they had a really small margin. So you're selling something for, I don't know what bathtub costs, but let's say it's £500 or it's 1,000, right? But if your margin on that is like £40, like that's your total profit, that's going to be tight, right? Like you need an ACOS that is not over 4%. That's gonna be tight to scale. And you probably don't have a 10 or 15% conversion rate on a 500 or 1,000 bathtub.
Be awesome. Yes.
So, and the flip side is if it's a really low price, also you get into these difficulties like how many 5 cents, 5 pence, whatever, clicks are you able to get realistically? Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the kind of product we probably wouldn't prioritize very much.
Right.
Just have them basically join our catch-all campaigns, which is another thing that we do, of course. One of the first things, actually, especially with all the other marketplaces that we have, we cannot focus on all of them right away. So we just start these low bid catch-all automatic campaigns, not too much higher than 15 cents per target, and then we just throw them in there, and that's where they get the traffic from. Yeah.
You mentioned the automatic campaigns, and for me, it's just a bit of a mystery, but I find with keywords, it's a little bit easier to compare keywords and try to learn from one to the other. So I don't have clients selling leather watches, but suppose that I did, right? So I could see, if somebody puts a steel watch, right, to what extent am I still able to, cross-sell them on a leather watch? And if my ACOS is good enough, so I can, figure out that also stainless steel watch will probably work well, and silver color steel watch or whatever might work. But when I'm targeting ASINs, I find it's a bit of a mystery, right? Like I just have the data from that ASIN, and I find it's kind of hard to compare between ASINs. I'm wondering if you guys have an approach, how you address ASIN targeting, both with sponsored products or sponsored brands or display, where, how do you deal with those that generate just very few clicks, right? You get 10 clicks a month. What are you supposed to do with that?
Were you talking about ASIN targeting or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you do an automatic campaign, right? So you'll show up on ASINs, right? On product detail pages or likewise you can deal with the other kinds of ads. So how do you interpret that data?
We have a specific approach for that. I mean, that's actually one of the negatives that we might get to later, that we just don't have that control, especially for a sponsored product ads, where the ad is actually going to show up for product ads and keyword ads. So, yeah, we can't even, even if we wanted to, we cannot have our product only appear in the search results or on the listing page.
Yeah.
We have a special approach there. Of course, we do try, with top of search and all that. If we, have that campaign goal to actually appear top of search to dominate the niche, then yes, we're not going to go on product multiplier, but still we don't really have the control.
Right. So you're just breaking up a tiny bit.
Sorry, that's probably.
When you're looking at data that you targeted, let's say 50 ASINs, right? And, maybe the top 2 have a good amount of data, but then a bunch of them are like 1 click, 3 clicks, 10 clicks. How do you optimize when the data rate is so low? Is there really an approach to working with these, almost fluky data? Oh, you got 1 click and 1 conversion. Oh, 100% conversion rate. It's obviously not.
My approach is just being patient, but also mainly using category targeting, especially in the start. And then also use the refinements, of course. That's how you kind of summarize the data more or less. Of course, it's not the most accurate approach, but still, we then only take out the high traffic ASINs into their manual campaigns, and so I don't worry too much about the little ASINs with their little clicks.
Right.
To generally stay on kind of lower bids on things that we don't really know about.
Right.
Actually, coming from category targets.
Interesting. I like that approach. So you start out basically, we want to get as much data as possible. Give us this category or subcategory with, whatever refinements on price, brand, etc.
Yeah, personally, that's one of my favorite targets to use, these refinements. And of course, I always recommend to use 4 refinements at least. So, pricing up to the point of your product and review rating up to 4. And then the second target is 4 to 5, pricing up to your product. And then the third target is pricing above your product or rating and pricing above your product 4 to 5 rating. So these are the 4 targets I pretty much always use.
that's a very interesting approach. So basically what that allows you to do is you group the ASIN traffic according to how your product compares to their ASIN. And then you can see, for example, when we're less expensive, we convert really well, so we can bid on that higher. When it's about the same price, we convert okay, so we can bid a bit less, but it's still worth it. And if the price is too low or the reviews are too strong, then it's not worth it. So we'll pause it or whatever it is.
Exactly, and of course the rating 0 to 4 and price higher than my product is of course the one that we really push right from the start.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. We did. We've done something similar. I mean, maybe you're already doing it, but I learned this from a guy called Jeremy Shoemaker. He called it, I think, second chance targeting, something like that. Basically, the idea is you can scrape the search results on Amazon for your top keyword, for example, using Helium 10's extension. And then you can basically just do those refinements within Excel and then pull the ASINs that you want based on that and just pop them in to your targeting for sponsored products or brands or whatever it is. But then, even if you didn't show up top of search, that these guys are showing up there. So they're pretty relevant, and somebody searching for those products would probably be interested in yours as well.
Yeah, that's a smart way. We also actually sometimes for the main products look at brand analytics, of course, look at the most clicked products, and they're gonna get their own single ASIN target campaign. So that we just have full control of that.
Right.
Previously dominating ASIN, and hopefully it's gonna be us at some point.
Right. Yeah. I find the brand analytics is such a useful and interesting tool for reasons like that. It helps you understand what is selling in a keyword or in a niche, and then draw a lot of conclusions from that. So one thing that we specialize in, as you know, is sponsored brand ads, and I'd love to hear a bit about what are you guys doing? What are some of your favorite techniques or tactics around that? Do you prefer product collections, store spotlights? You shared with me a bit last time how you do the videos. So, can you open up the tactic playbook from Razor Ads, Razor Group, excuse me, and let us know what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so sponsored brand videos is certainly very big for us, where we see a lot of potential. And obviously it takes a bit of time to get those videos, but actually not as much time as you would think. So there are these, very simple softwares, Canva or Animoto, where you just make a, simple slide video, just take 2 or 3 pictures and perhaps your brand in the end. And that's already it, some very simple wordings. It doesn't have to sell your product yet. You just want the attention, so you don't have to overthink it as well. And we're seeing actually some great results.
That's awesome.
Also, one of the first things that I would recommend for taking over a new account and taking over some new products where probably they're not using video ads on all the placements,
right?
Especially listing page placements, which is fairly new, I think.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the things we do. Then sponsored brands, of course, always big potential to grow sales, especially with the custom images that just take up all the screen, and on the mobile phone you're basically the only one visible after that. So that's another big thing. There we're more dependent on the content team to actually give us that, nice lifestyle image.
Right.
So I think the video ads is a bit bigger for us still at the moment. But sponsored brands, if we have the content, then
sure.
Go all in.
Sure. So how are you choosing those images that you're using for your videos?
To be honest, again, very simple, because we don't have, the great content team for every brand, and we cannot get all these great lifestyle images everywhere. So we just take them from the listing page and see what we have and use them again.
Okay.
Hey guys, so I believe we got cut off there in the end, so I'm just going to send my last remarks that I wanted to actually share with David on these topics on a quick dirty solution on my phone here. And the final thing that I wanted to share in terms of what we do, right away after we take over an account, after sponsored brand video ads, after catch-all campaigns, and after also, we didn't talk about that in too much detail, but it's kind of straightforward, after just cutting down on search terms that are just, only producing costs and no sales. After that, we also create retargeting ads for the most expensive products, especially because it's simply mind-blowing when you think about the number that Amazon gave us recently, which is that only 4% of people buy their products in their first visit to that listing page. So you really need to retarget those people, and especially for the higher priced products, that number of course becomes even higher than 4%, becomes even lower than 4%. So yeah, that's what you definitely also want to do, retargeting ads. And then one topic we had last week that we didn't get to talk about this week yet was what are our favorite and least favorite aspects of Amazon ads. So I'm just going to start with my least favorite aspects. We already talked about it quickly, is that you just do not have the control of where the traffic is going for sponsored products. It's truly a shame because it's such a great ad, and yeah, you're just gonna have your ad show up on listing pages and on, in the search results pretty much randomly. You can control it a little bit with the placement settings, but in the end you can't. So yeah, that's a shame. Then we also have the attribution, which is different across all ad types and even across targeting types within the same ad type. So sometimes you have 7-day windows, sometimes 14-day windows, sometimes the order is connected to the day of the click and sometimes to the day of the order, as in sponsored brands. So yeah, that of course another thing that doesn't make it easier. So that's something that is not particularly something I'm a fan of, right? What else did we have? We had bulk name changing of your campaigns is not possible. You cannot just download all your campaigns and then re-upload them with another name. So that is one of our biggest struggles, and actually something I missed talking about this week. When it comes to what we do when we take over an account, we change the names. It's a manual process. It takes time. It's really a struggle, but we just have to do it because we need to know what we're dealing with, especially, of course, for the high spending campaigns. We want to bring our own naming system into those campaigns. So yeah, that's a real shame that that doesn't work in bulk, and there's actually no software out there as well that really makes that easy. So yeah, that's the three aspects that I don't like too much. And in terms of what I really like, well, I talked about it in the very beginning. I think it's just that it's constantly giving us new things, constantly coming up with new updates. Early in the year, we had mini DSP coming with audiences, then, video ads on listing pages, and retargeting ads. And what else? Well, we have keyword search volumes to look forward to soon. It's not really ads related, but still. So a lot of things happening, and that's what I really like about Amazon ads. And maybe just the fact that we do already have, even though Amazon ads itself is kind of young, it's only like 4 or 5 years old, but we already have a lot of control over them. We have placements, we have all these targeting types, all these different kind of customizable ads in sponsored display and sponsored brand and video ads, where you can also get creative. So yeah, there's a lot to do there, a lot of options to have and to use. So that is certainly the parts that I like a lot about ads. And with that, I'm just gonna give it back to David Goldberg for you to take over and finish this up. All right. Thanks for having me, and I'll see you around.